Yep, memberships still start at just $12.99. Hurry, there are limited time renovation offers. Sign up at crunch.com and go crunch mode today.
There are about 1 million places to get away this spring, like rafting the Colorado River. But if you want to get away with a great deal on a new car or SUV, there's only one place to go, the Hyundai Getaway sales event. With new cars arriving daily, it's time to get in and get away. Now, get 0% APR for up to 48 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days on select Hyundai vehicles. See your local Hyundai dealer today. Visit buyhyundai.com to find the dealer nearest you. For well-qualified buyers only. Offer ends 3/31/22. Call 1-562-314-4603 for complete offer details.
Hey, Becky G, can you play your next hit?
I will, as soon as it's released. But I've got another big hit for you. Did you know that with Xfinity Internet, you get fast, reliable speeds to fit your needs and budget?
Ooh, that's nice.
Even Wi-Fi speeds faster than a gig to power all your devices. Best of all, you could save up to $400 a year on your wireless bill when you add Xfinity Mobile.
It's official. That's a hit.
Hey, we're on the radio. Now everyone can get the best value with Xfinity. Can your internet do that?
Learn more about gig speed Wi-Fi and other fast speed options. Get started with Xfinity Internet 50 megabits per second for $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. Plus, add Xfinity Mobile and you can save hundreds a year on wireless. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay and 3/31/22. Restrictions apply. New Connect Internet customers only. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. After term, regular rates apply. Gig Wi-Fi requires gig Internet and XFi Gateway. Actual speeds vary. Compares optimized pricing of top carriers. Xfinity Internet required.
Ever wanted to learn a new language, like French or Spanish, or even Norwegian, but thought it'd be too difficult or time-consuming? If so, it's time to try Babbel. Babbel lets you customize how and when you learn. Quick 10-minute lessons on words,
Siesta,
Bambola, phrases and grammar,
Lås den kaffe.
to games that keep it exciting. Listen to podcasts on the go or take live online classes with a real teacher.
Hola, clase. ¿Cómo están?
It's really up to you. In no time, chatting about real-life topics will feel, well, effortless. Go ahead, see where Babbel takes you. Ah, Paris. More ways to explore, more ways to learn. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
For Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on for fur babies. If you think it's been hard being stuck at home for a year, think about your dog. It's been 7 years for them, and they deserve to get out and sniff the world too. So grab Daisy, Ranger, or Doodles and hit the road. But be sure to stick your head out the window and look for a Motel 6. And like all pets, Baxter stays free. Hot dog. I'm Tom Bodette from Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on for you.
Music discovery.
But you have the power to do it. Your story to quit for good is yours to tell, and they're there to help. For free quit support, visit kickitca.org today.
And those savings add up. Imagine what you could buy in the future.
Remember how 15 years ago I switched to Progressive? Well, I used all those savings to buy that golf club that swings for you. But now everyone who plays golf is really good because, you know, the club swings for you in the future, which is now.
So switch to Progressive and save big because those savings can add up in the future. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive in 2020. Potential savings will vary.
A hero. Come on. And a villain.
You won't get away this time.
Face off in a Nissan sales event ad.
Wait, what?
Starring the Nissan Rogue.
Oh, nice.
And featuring more power than a CR-V.
See ya.
You won't want to miss any of the action at the Nissan Thrill of the Drive sales event.
Right now, get 0.9% APR financing for up to 72 months on 14 models. Availability is limited, so contact your local dealer for inventory information and shop NissanUSA.com today before these offers get away.
This week, Schools First Federal Credit Union is celebrating our extraordinary heroes, school employees, and all our members. Hi, I'm Tamara Beaver, manager of the Fruit Ridge branch. We invite our members and all school employees to join us this Wednesday through Saturday at any of our Northern California branches where we'll show our gratitude with gifts and refreshments, plus free financial education workshops at select locations. Visit schoolsfirstfcu.org/heroes to learn more.
Federally insured by NCUA.
Get a COVID-19 booster. They help keep you and others safe from the virus and its variants this season and beyond. If it's been at least 6 months since your last dose of Pfizer or Moderna, or at least 2 months since your last dose of J&J, it's time for a booster. Visit myturn.ca.gov to find a booster near you. Let's keep our immunity strong. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
But it can also mean more bugs, like fleas and ticks. So don't forget to help protect your pets with Frontline Plus for dogs and Frontline Plus for cats. It's easy to apply, kills fleas and ticks fast, and keeps working all month long. So you can enjoy the outdoors and your pets can get the protection they need. That's why Frontline is the #1 name in flea and tick protection. Trusted for over 20 years. Find out where to buy Frontline products at Frontline.com.
At Rayleigh's in Bel Air, we love to help you save money on your favorite ingredients. And you can save even more when you shop the deals in our weekly ad. This week, take home mouth-watering USDA Choice Rayleigh's Boneless Untrimmed Tri-Tip Roast sold in the bag and on sale for only $4.97 a pound. Make it a meal by pairing your Tri-Tip with fresh broccoli crowns. On sale this week for only $1.47 a pound. Get exemplary service and exceptional everyday values in-store or online from your neighborhood Rayleigh's or Bel Air.
It is here. iHeartRadio is honoring women who are shattering stereotypes with their accomplishments, creating opportunities, and inspiring generations to find their own voice and share it with the world. Listen as women take the mic throughout the day. At 5 p.m., it's an hour's worth of music exclusively from female artists. And at 8 p.m., join us for our 2nd annual iHeartRadio See Her, Hear Her, celebrating women who make music and culture. Featuring Alicia Keys, Maren Morris, Avril Lavigne, and more on iHeartRadio YouTube and Facebook. Paramount Plus is a proud sponsor of iHeartRadio See Her, Hear Her. Stream Casey Musgraves in Starcrossed the Film, Miranda Lambert in the Martha Tapes, and Madonna in Madam X. Stream the Women Who Move Mountains collection today, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Stunning streams, unbelievable bandwidth. It's another Lifestyles of Gagillionaires. Meet the AT&T Fiber customers winning at life with hyper gig speeds. Meet Gagillionaire Terry. While his love of streaming horror movies has him constantly on the edge of his seat, his internet bill won't give him a scare.
Oh, don't go in there. I'm telling you.
Because since Terry upgraded to AT&T Fiber with hyper gig speeds, he doesn't worry about data caps or equipment fees.
Come on, man. The door's open for a reason.
And best yet, he also doesn't stress about a price increase at 12 months, because with the amazing Gagillionaire lifestyle comes an exquisite sense of tranquility. Most of the time. Live like a Gagillionaire. Get straightforward pricing with AT&T Fiber. Internet that upgrades everything. No data caps, no equipment fees, and no price increase in 12 months.
But that's easier said than done, right? That's where USAA can help. Between juggling extracurriculars, finding time for grocery runs, and the hoops of every day, it can be hard to think beyond this weekend, let alone figure out life insurance. That's why USAA Life Insurance Company has made getting a quote quick and easy. USAA has your back with budget-friendly coverage options so you can keep on keeping on while they help protect the ones that matter most to you. USAA, what you're made of, we're made for. Visit USAA.com/life to get started.
Our ancestors had a mystical connection with red pandas. Any strong emotion will release the panda.
I'm a gross red monster!
Streaming Friday only on Disney Plus.
My whole life I've been perfect little May-May, but maybe I like this new me.
Look at you. You're such a rebel now.
Yeah.
Fight the power!
Disney and Pixar's Turning Red. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. Original movie streaming Friday only on Disney Plus.
New ZQuil Pure Z's Restorative Herbal Sleep is a melatonin-free sleep aid made with clinically studied plant-based ingredients to help promote better restorative sleep. Sleep this good, feel this good.
Black wants to celebrate you, the change makers, innovators, and visionaries, uplifting their communities. If that's you, you won't want to miss the chance to power even greater possibilities. Enter the AT&T Black Future Makers Contest for a chance to win $10,000 and an AT&T 5G-enabled device. You got this. Learn more at attdreaminblack.com/contest. Must be 18 and older. Other restrictions apply.
Stop by their familiar location and enjoy all the modern comforts of this truly remarkable dealership. It's a beautiful new day at Lexus of Sacramento, 2600 Fulton Avenue. Online at lexusofsacramento.com.
Jay will host and perform. Jennifer Lopez will receive the iHeartRadio Icon Award. And the biggest stars from pop, hip-hop, country, alternative, rock, R&B, Latin music, and more will all be celebrated. Enter now on this station's website for your exclusive access to be there. Witness once-in-a-lifetime performances, history-making moments, and so much more at our 2022 iHeartRadio Music Awards.
Mystical connection with red pandas. Any strong emotion will release the panda.
Streaming Friday only on Disney+.
My whole life I've been perfect little May-May, but maybe I like this new me.
Look at you. You're such a rebel now.
Yeah.
Fight the power!
Disney and Pixar's Turning Red. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. Original movie streaming Friday only on Disney+.
Let's get ready to rumble! Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Charlton of Big C Sports. Coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports zoo in the universe, according to me and people who love sports. And that's fair enough for me. I want to say today is a beautiful March the 8th. 2022, Grando Deportes, Bonjour, de Veni Veni Vici. Welcome to the show. Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. When you go by and test drive your Stellan Charlton of Big C Sports Center, as well as a fleet of Cadillac cars, also all around the universe. You can follow Big C Sports on 23 podcast applications from Google, Alexa, Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio Podcast, Castbox Podcast, Deezer Podcast. I got to keep a little bit more breath. Podcast Addict. Number 10, Pod Chaser. Give me some praise. I reached 10. Come on, it's not that easy. Try it sometime. If you try it, you'll understand how hard it is to count to 10. You can also follow Big C Sports Podcast on Geosafon Podcast, out of London, England, Podtail Podcast, YouTube Podcast, Hubhopper, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, Repod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes, Podcast Wise, Podbay, Verbal Podcast, and the 23rd one is the one that kind of scares me a little bit. Allfeeds.ai. Give it some praise. The computers are taking over. Funny thing, I was telling a friend of mine about the podcast that I have with Big C Sports Podcast, and actually on the name of the podcast, of the 23 podcasts, one was called Repot Podcast, like Repot, and he thought it was Repo Podcast. He thought I was trying to turn him in. I said, I'm not trying to turn you in. It's Repot Podcast. Pay the bill. You have nothing to worry about, if that makes sense to you. You can also follow us streaming on live TV on 4 TV platforms. When you follow Big C Sports all over the universe, you can find us on Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. But they do appreciate that. I love paying homage to my family legacy. And today is International Women's Day. So before I even do that, I want to say, give women some praise. Give them praise, praise, praise. International Women's Day. All fair and loving world. I want to wish all the women a happy International Women's Day. I don't know if they make cards for that, but at least it's out there. I want to pay homage to my family legacy on my mother's side of the family, the matriarch of the family, my great-grandmother, on International Women's Day. Called her Mamo. She was a wonderful person, the best great-grandmother in the history, in my opinion, the great-grandmother in the history of the universe, the greatest one. Really do appreciate her. Always gave us love, lots of food in the belly, and sometimes even saying, boy, go get me a Switch. Okay, sometimes we needed it too. At the same time, my great-grandfather, the patriarch of the family on my mother's side, called him Pop, former Negro League baseball player, known around his church buddies as making the best moonshine in the history of the universe. And saying, for boys, get out of that barn. How many times I gotta tell you, you don't want lightning to strike? Working on lightning. It's amazing. When there was lightning outside, he would go put stuff in the ground like hammers and nails and tie a string to it. Oh, life's so funny. And then I want to say, my grandmother, Mud Deer, she is a beautiful, wonderful person, and always made sure that we had the family stick together. Really do appreciate her. She was a seer. She could look at people and tell you about their past their present and their future. I still appreciate things that she does for me to this day. Very prescient. And then I want to say to my grandfather, Hezekiah, another wonderful gentleman, did everything possible to keep the family strong. Very smart, salient individual. And then my beautiful mother, the most beautiful mother in the history of the universe, started a Head Start program, a food program to feed people and help win the Little League Championship of the universe. I love saying give mama praise. Give mama some praise. A Head Start program, a food program, and help win the Little League Championship of the universe. And then the restaurant that the best cook people, even movie stars would come to eat mama's cooking. Always appreciate mama, always saying rise and shine. And then my father, retired Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, making sure that planes could fly high so we could all stay safe at night. Really do appreciate that. Saying develop your mind to his highest extent. My beautiful brother Todd, with his bombastic voice, sound like thunder and lightning when Todd would speak. Our favorite movie, again, was Scarface, but many people thought it was too violent. So we decided we stick with Pulp Fiction. It was less than violent. But the favorite scene in Pulp Fiction for us is when Vin Rames told Bruce Willis that stinking sensation, he said, your butt goes down in the 4th round before the big fight. And he said, that stinking sensation that you feeling, that's pride flubbing with you. Flub pride. And I got away with it because I did not use profanity. I like skating the edge sometimes. But he said, flup pride. Anyone bother, tell him, flup pride. If that makes sense to you, you will get away with it. And then I also love saying, and my beautiful daughter, Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. Daisy, very smart, beautiful, hardworking, a college graduate, graduated with honors, 2 degrees, in 3.5 years from a major university. Actually helped me set up the very first interview for Big C Sports at Salem Media. And also would help me set up when coaches would come, college coaches, to the West Coast, and then meet with Big C Sports for paraphernalia and also marketing. Really do appreciate Daisy. And then my beautiful, handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. A college student, very smart, intelligent. As I always tell Malcolm, Wakanda forever. Never let anyone get between you and your family. That's so important. Malcolm's very smart, hard-working college student. Oftentimes sends me NBA stats, has NBA stats inside and out, knows it upside down, inside out. Really do appreciate Malcolm with all of his wealth of knowledge. He's going to be a great man in life. And then partner Big C with all his wealth of knowledge over the years. You got to believe, you got to believe, you got to believe. I like to give everybody some praise. Give everybody praise, praise, praise. Really do appreciate that with Big C Sports Podcast. And then something that I love seeing that actually my grandfather started back in the day. He would say, let's get ready to rumble. He started that with his church friends coming out of that barn. Welcome to the show. SB Sports nominated Big C Sports Podcast. No scripts, no 3-way teleprompter, no producer in my ear. I do my show with my higher self, and I always honor God. My show is fresh, like cookies out of the oven, or if you ever had that cup of coffee in the morning, the best part of waking up is Big C coffee in your cup, and it only comes in one size, extra large. Only one small coffees with Big C's cup of coffee, all fair and love and warm. I'm going to tell you something before I get into it, and I'm realizing I'm speaking to a lot of young people that still have dreams. Sometimes you get a little older and you don't want to listen to anything. You just believe that life is what it is. But there's something, because I grew up in the church, I often heard a lot of sayings. And when Moses had been instructed by God, when you think about it, go to Exodus 4:12, and Moses is kind of afraid to speak at times. But if you look at Exodus 4:12, God said, I will help you speak, and I will teach you what to say. Isn't that something when God is your instructor? So give God some praise, and give not being afraid to speak some praise. A lot of people want to start something, and they never get started because they want to do it perfectly. I don't do anything perfectly. I screw up all the time. Nobody knows that but me, and every now and then when a sponsor tells me. It's all fair and level war. But you keep shining and rising and shining anyway. I always produce the show. I direct the topics. I broadcast the shows. The sound effects are done by the agency. We can all use more laughter in our life. Don't worry about being perfect. Just get it started, if that makes sense to you. The commercials are done. The stats are provided. I do the storytelling. And what I really want to get back to is Steph Curry for 3. I got to get Golden State Warriors back on track. I really need those NBA Finals media passes. And I don't feel like walking all the way down to to Phoenix, Arizona. It's too far a walk to watch the Phoenix Suns. So hopefully the Warriors will get their groove back. And then I upload the show to the platform out of New York City. It goes out to 23 multiple platforms and goes out to 4 TV streaming services on Big C Sports Podcast. I never missed a show since starting Big C Sports back on September 12th, 2015 at Salem Media. We took them to number 1 in the market out of 144 stations. Took them number 1 in the market with Big C Sports. It's a Wall Street business channel, and they even started broadcasting NFL Monday Night Football. Give that some praise if that makes sense to you. And then they realized that, hey, these guys are onto something. They called in some mainstream guys, and they were saying, hey, welcome to the show. This is Joe and Bob, and the show got canceled. So I'm not saying anything's wrong with it, but sometimes they don't want to give black men the credit. They brought some mainstream in, and the show's off the air. You can Google it. They don't carry Monday Night Football anymore. All fair and love and war. But I really do believe I'm the only sports show, maybe not the only, but one of the few sports shows in the universe that always honors God. I love giving out scripture. One of my favorite verses growing up that I heard oftentimes was from Genesis chapter 13, verse 15. And God said, for all the land that thou seest will I give you, and thy seed forever. And the book of James chapter 4, verse 2 said, ye have not because you ask not. So if you want something, all you got to do is ask. The answers may be yes or no, but give yes or no some praise. It's always no if you don't ask. Imagine everything around you in your life right now. Everything. At one time, it was just a thought. And now you actually have things that you don't even want anymore. That makes sense to you? It's all fair and love and war. But I really do appreciate doing Big C Sports Podcast. And also, I want to say thank you to Xfinity Comcast TV and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, let there be light. Open your cell phones or electronic devices and just say, play Big C Sports Podcast. You will see our apps pop up all over the world and give that some praise. Really do appreciate that. It wasn't there until we started Big C Sports Podcast. I also want you to Google, for people who are following, you can Google Forbes top sports agents. Forbes been doing this thing for many moons now. And if you look at sports agents and Aaron Rodgers touchdown, Aaron Rodgers just got a big contract. I'm going to talk about that today. $200 million for 4 years. If my math is right, that's about $50 million a year. And that's not even including his commercials. So sports marketing agents, last year, they contributed to over $41.2 billion of contracts. That's over $2 billion in commissions. Big C Sports being invited into that sports marketing agency by one of the top black sports agents in the United States. Really do appreciate him. I'm going through my certification and will be passing my exam for this year. Really do appreciate a lot of things are coming to Big C Sports Podcast. So give that praise when you rise and shine. I say if my producer can just wake up, I got to give him some Big C coffee. Got to wake him up. When you rise and shine, people notice. It doesn't matter what people say if they're against you. You got to look at who's on you. And if God's for you, no one can be against you. And I'm saying that to people because some people need to hear it, including myself. Sometimes the world turns its back on you. And that's okay. It's just God moving people out of the way. But when you look at the world's most powerful sports agents, you think about this. I'm not going to give them a lot of credit because they don't score the touchdown, home run, three-point play. They don't do that. But they write the contracts. And one of the top sports agencies made in commissions over $160 million. Didn't score a touchdown, didn't hit a home run, didn't shoot a three-point play. But they represented the athletes. That's why Big C Sports is getting into sports marketing agencies in 2022. I also want to say thank you to the California Lottery and the Powerball, the Fantasy 5, the Mega Million, and all of that good old boy stuff. Really do appreciate that. In fact, Coach Mariucci, former coach of the San Francisco 49ers, he did a PSA on gambling and how some people get in over their head. And then we have Calvin Ridley for the Atlanta Falcons, gave up $11 million so he could bet for $1,500. That doesn't make any sense. I still think the NFL is wrong, but they're the ones who own it, so they're going to be tied up in bed with the gambling industry, but players can't do that. They say, do as I say, not as I do, and I understand the hypocrisy, but they're the ones signing the check for the players. The players don't sign the check for the owner, so you got to do what the owner says also in writing. But Coach Mariucci, who now works with the NFL Network, he had a PSA. just like people are addicted to eating, people are addicted to drinking. People can be addicted to so many things. I have an addiction too. My addiction is talking too fast, and that's okay. I took a class for it, and they taught me how to talk even faster. They said, man, your real calling was to be one of those auctioneers. 500, 700, 3,000. Okay, I failed that class, so I said I stick to podcast instead. I don't know how those auctioneers talk so fast, but they say, I don't know how you listen so slow. Everybody's got their own groove. You just got to find your groove and stick to it. But I really do appreciate anyone going through issues. 800-GAMBLER, that's GAMBLER. Now, I gamble too. It's one of my addictions. I was actually outside of a gas station today, and I decided I was going to buy me a lottery ticket. And I think I got bamboozled. I think I got hoodwinked. There was this good looking older lady. She was having a tough time opening the door. So I opened the door for her. And she said, thank you, young man. And I forgot it's International Women's Day. Okay, you ladies, listen up. Because she said, young man, I was just wondering, I don't have my wallet. I left my wallet back in my car. And she was walking so slow, I didn't want to say, go back to your car. So she asked me if I would just give her $5, she would give me the winning numbers to the nice lottery. And I said, well, that's not a bad trade-off. It's a Mega Million. It's about $100 million. So I gave her $5, and she gave me the winning number to the California lottery. She said the numbers are 18, 24, 33, 47, 51, and 14. And I said, wouldn't that be worth walking back to your car to get it? I said that to myself. Either way, hopefully it comes true. If not, I got bamboozled. But you think about it. If she has the winning numbers to $100 million, why would she give them to me? Because it's International Women's Day. Give women some praise for getting their groove on. It's all fair and everywhere. And I think I do have a winning ticket anyway. I want to say also, for our veterans, everybody loves veterans. I love being able to give out the Veterans Crisis Hotline because they really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. And rumor has it they will stand on their head to get our veterans some praise. If you know anybody going through issues, and everybody is, 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255, or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net, and give the Veterans Crisis Hotline some praise. Our first responders need praise. They all need praise, because when somebody needs help, we call that number, and they often pick up the phone, and they help people. So I really do love being able to give out a PSA for our Veterans Crisis Hotline. Really do love doing that. I also want to say thank you to Budweiser Zero. It has 0% alcohol, but it's 100% honest game, sports fans. When you're watching the big game, you want to eat the Big C Burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with, what's all this exotic meats? My goodness. You ever have a hamburger that tastes so good, you go, what's in it? And the people say, don't worry about it, just eat it. It tastes better in your mouth than it does in your head. And that's true, but not always the case. Sometimes licking your fingers tastes just as good if you're licking your fingers after eating that Big C Burger. Really do appreciate that. Also, I want to just say, for so many people, if you get up in the morning and you wonder why I talk so fast, because I have that Big C coffee. It comes with, what's all this exotic beans? And it tastes better poured down your throat than it does in the pot. Give a first cup of coffee some praise. I love giving it praise, just like going to Krispy Kreme donut. Nobody wants to eat a 3-day-old donut. My show is just like that. It's fresh, like the Krispy Kreme donut coming off the conveyor belt. You get it one time a day, like the great Eminem said. You only get one shot, only one time a day. It's not recycled. It's the same fresh baked cookie every single day, whether you like it or not. Just eat it. What did Michael Jackson say when he had the Big C cookie? He said, eat it! Eat it! No one wants to beat it, beat it. People thought he was saying beat it, but he was saying eat it. Okay, you can see why I got in trouble so many times when I was a young boy. I'm going to take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. When I come back, in the words of the former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Terminator, I'll be back. All right, we're back for the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 23 podcast applications all over the universe and streaming on 4 TV applications. Really do appreciate that. I also want to make sure that I want to give a correct shout out to International Women's Day. Give all the women some praise. They all get a shout out, even the lady that got $5 out of me for a $2 winning Mega Millions lottery ticket. Hopefully it comes true. Again, like Moses said in Exodus 4:12, I will help you speak and teach you what to say. When God told that to Moses, you notice he had to tell a man what to say, because women, every day is International Women's Day for women. They always know what to say, and they're always going to get the last word, if that makes sense to you. But think about this. Imagine a gender where the world is equal. And in the United States, we have a lot more freedoms than women in other countries all over the world. In a world free of bias. Think about that. What would it be like to have a world free of stereotypes? A world that's free of sexism. A world that's free of racism. And all the isms that women have to deal with. Wouldn't it be great if we had a world that was free of that? Well, treat people the way we want to be treated. That's the golden rule. But a world that's diverse and equitable and inclusive, a world where difference is valued and celebrated. And I believe that since all people came from a woman, every man and woman on this planet, they didn't come out of the loins of a man, because there'd only be like 2 people on the planet if that's the case. Me and somebody else. But everybody came out of the womb of a woman, except for maybe one person on the planet, and everybody knows who that person is. I'm not getting political, but everybody knows who that person is. But we celebrate women's achievements, and we raise awareness against bias and take action for equality, like the woman that sold me a $2 winning Mega Million ticket, and she charged me $5 because she said it was too far to walk 10 feet back to her car. I think I got hoodwinked, but it's okay. It's International Women's Day, and hopefully she told me the truth. You know why? Because women do not lie. Give that some praise. Women don't lie, and every woman can attest. They've never told a lie. All's fair in love and war, but I want to just make sure that we give praise to International Women's Day for every woman all over the universe. All fair in love and war. Now, speaking of going back to something that's amazing, when I think about the world of sports, like baseball, one of my favorite sports, and baseball struck out again. I love baseball since I was a little boy. My mama helped win a Little League baseball championship. I love going to the ballpark. I get to go free because I have media credentials, but I love the counts full, runners on in first and third, the pitch, swung on, hit deep, right field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little friend. You know, the girls love the long ball, and men love to hit deep, especially on International Women's Day. But baseball decided they didn't want to do it. Just imagine if Santa Claus were to go on strike because he can't get everything his way. Maybe the reindeers wanted too much money, or the reindeer wanted too much carrot, and he wouldn't do it. So he said, I'm not going to deliver any toys to kids, no matter where they are living, anywhere in the universe, because I can't get my way. How would kids feel? And when you think about it, people don't think about the kids. What about the children? I'm not saying it just to be flippant, but think about it. All the time, baseball's always trying to reach back to that new generation and bridge that gap to the current and the older generation. Grandparents and their children and their children's children going to baseball games. When my mother taught Little League baseball, when she coached it, there were always grandparents in the stand, along with parents and then young children in Little League. So I remember what that was like, to look up into the stands and see different generations watching baseball. So what baseball is doing is like Santa Claus deciding not to give out toys on Christmas Eve or Christmas because the reindeer aren't happy. They want more carrots or more pellets, whatever he gives them. But he may give them Big C burgers. That give them a lot of energy. But think about it. They can't become the next Barry Bonds, the home run king, the next Reggie Jackson, the Mr. October, the next Hammer and Hank Aaron that hit balls out of the yard, the next Willie Mays, the say hey kid, the next Babe Ruth, Pete Rose, Ricky Henderson, whatever it is, because men can't figure it out. Not having baseball start on time, coming off the crescendo of the NFL, which had 112 million viewers. That was amazing. We just came out of COVID. We came out of so many isms. And not having baseball start is a lot like not having Christmas. It's not just for the players. The players are making $30, $40 million a year. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the ancillary people, the restaurants around the outside of the stadiums, the concession stand workers, the security people, everybody that's involved in baseball. It creates seasonal employment for a lot of people. A lot of people that are on the margins just getting by. They're not spending $100 or $500 for a ticket, or some places $1,000. But Major League Baseball and the Major League Baseball PA, they continue negotiations, and Major League Baseball suggests that as of the latest deadline, as far as I know, we're not going to have a full season. They need 30 days to have spring training. We've already missed that. That was supposed to start in March. We're on the 8th of March now. And when you think about it, baseball is screwing it up. Imagine if Santa Claus decided not to deliver presents because the reindeer are asking for too many carrots. It doesn't make any sense. The league is still offering a flat $30 million pool with no increases over the 5-year term of the agreement. The Major League Baseball PA, they lowered from $115 million peak to $80 million, at least that's the last check that I saw, through the union, also believed to be seeking annual increases to the size of the pool. How much more money do they need? Baseball is already, when you think about what baseball's done, it is a $10 billion enterprise. The pitch swung on here deep, right field, back to the wall, home run! Say hello to my little friends. Not right now. Because grown men can't figure it out. These are the same guys that argue with the GPS in the car. I know where I'm going. I don't trust those things. I remember one time I have a nephew. He was going to drive up through the mountains, and I gave him a map. This is about 10 years ago. And I said, here, take this map. You never know if you have to get off course up in the mountains. And he said, hey, uncle, I use a GPS. And I said, what's a GPS? And he laughed at me. Now, I argue with my GPS. I hardly get any place without my GPS now, but sometimes I still think it's telling me wrong because I'm a man. I gotta be right about something, and the GPS is usually right. But we keep trying. We just keep trying. Well, baseball has to keep trying also. Most people know if you want someone to get things done, then it's International Women's Day. Who else can convince a man that she's gonna sell him the winning lottery ticket if he gives her $5? It's okay. I'm gonna win anyway. But I hope that baseball can figure it out. Major League Baseball offered to raise the base luxury tax threshold to $228 million next season. And that's raising to $238 million over the course of the CBA, collective bargaining agreement. And when you think about it, how much more money do people need? Are you telling me that some of these athletes would rather go get a job at Home Depot and make $10 to $15 an hour as opposed to making the minimum $700,000 that Major League Baseball is offering? And people are mad at the owners. And I know the owners, they have a lot of responsibility. Like for example, what do you do if you have $1 billion in the bank? You can get bored. So maybe they just want to argue. Like arguing and not playing baseball is a lot like arguing with the GPS in your car. Men do it anyway. I've seen it. I've done it myself. So I understand. But I hope that cooler heads can prevail and let Major League Baseball get back to playing, because it affects so many people who work seasonal jobs and they need help with that. So I hope that cooler heads can prevail. And if you believe in what I'm saying on International Women's Day, maybe get some women in there to start talking about how they can sell you a $2 lottery ticket for $5. Because I bought mine. It works, and men know it works. But also, and happy International Women's Day, really do appreciate that. I do want to say baseball, they did hit a home run, if that makes sense to you, because they did something that I know, I'm not saying it's just me, but I'm prescient. The stream of consciousness, like string theory, I'm flowing in the right direction. Okay? Thoughts are ubiquitous. It's ethereal. Major League Baseball launches a $1 million fund for the ballpark workers matching the union. I've been saying that on Big City Sports since they called for the strike to happen. Now, it came out of New York City. Major League Baseball launched a $1 million fund today to support spring training workers impacted by the canceled games. And matching that amount of the fund, the Players Association announced last week. So they're trying to do what I've been calling for, and a lot of other people have been calling for it too. It's not the fault of other people who are trying to work these games. Major League Baseball said the money will be administered by teams, part-time, and seasonal workers based on financial need. And that eligible groups and concessionaires and the people who work the grounds, the ground crew, security, clubhouse, and ballpark workers, that they're going to get some relief. And obviously it's not their fault. Like I always say, all's fair in love and war. Hardly anything's fair in life. But you got to figure it out that baseball, at least this time, in my opinion, they stepped up to the plate and they saw the count was full. Runners on first and third, the pitch. Swung on, hit deep. Right field, back to the wall. Home run. Say hello to my little friends. And they got it right because they're paying the concessionaires. And I really do appreciate that. I'm going to take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. When I come back, I'm going to talk about $50 million a year. I want that kind of money, and you want it too. I'll be back in just a moment. All right, we're back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 23 podcast applications all over the universe. And streaming on 4 TV applications. Really do appreciate the growth of Big C Sports. I'm telling you, there's so much going on in the world of sports. And when I was a little boy, sitting at the breakfast table with my brothers, and oftentimes I would tell my brothers when we eat the bowl of cereal, pour some sugar, homie. I think Def Leppard had a song called Pour Some Sugar, Homie. So we would sing, pour some sugar, homie. It wasn't until I got to college I realized it was a pour some sugar on me. But it worked to get the extra sugar on the cereal bowl as a young boy. Me and my brothers, all friend, love, and war. But today, the great touchdown Aaron Rodgers told the Green Bay Packers, pour some sugar, homie. And they did it. In the name of love, pour some sugar, homie. They poured $200 million worth of sugar. That's a lot better than the cereal I was eating as a little boy. $200 million for football? And touchdown Aaron Rodgers is an amazing player. I remember interviewing Aaron Rodgers after they beat the 49ers at Levi Stadium for the 49ers home opener this past 2021 season. And I asked him, what makes you such a good passer? You're not the biggest, strongest, fastest guy. And he said, it's muscle memory. The muscle memory. And he had think about this, 4-time NFL MVP, but one Super Bowl. He's only been to one Super Bowl. They beat the Pittsburgh Steelers back in the day. But when you think about it, reports have it, they've agreed to terms on a 4-year, $200 million deal. And then after Russell Wilson did his thing, he came out and said he hasn't signed it yet, but we know he's going to sign it. And rumor has it it's around $153 million. That's guaranteed. Guaranteed. Think about that. That good boy is going to book $50 million a year to play football, not to save lives. And there's nothing wrong with it. Get the money that you can get it because no one's blinking. The checks are not bouncing for these players. The checks are not bouncing when they get that kind of money. And if you can get it, go get it. And the sports, this is why I'm getting my certification for sports marketing agency. Like the man that told me, Charlton, you do a good job. I've interviewed people from the United States Olympic team. They were playing Big C Sports in the Olympics in Tokyo, Japan, last year's Summer Olympic. I interviewed some sports agents back in 2018 for a TV show. And he said, just do what you're doing. And you have a platform that's heard all over the world. It would not be hard to get some of the top athletes all over the universe to sign with our agency. They're already doing it. He's already a multimillionaire. He doesn't need me. But he sees a lot of passion that I have for the game. I eat, sleep, and drink football and sports and basketball and baseball, MMA, all that stuff. I love it. It's just part of who I am growing up as a little boy. But for Aaron Rodgers to get that kind of money, he just became the highest paid quarterback in the history of the NFL. Now, I told you Tom Brady's not going to retire. I'm the only guy saying it. Tom Brady will sign with the San Francisco 49ers after the NFL draft that comes up in April down in Las Vegas. He's never said he's going to step away for sure. He's going to figure out what to do. Tom Brady has 7 Super Bowl championships. He didn't do it by himself. He had a lot of great defenses that he played for. But when Tom Brady just saw that Aaron Rodgers, who played at Pleasant Valley High School in Chico, went to Butte College, and then got recruited by Jeff Tefford at Cal Berkeley, and he played at Cal Berkeley, and he wanted to play for the 49ers, and they didn't draft him. And he ended up in Green Bay backing up touchdown Brett Favre. And then Tom Brady played at Sarah High School in San Mateo, went to Michigan, but his father wanted Tom to go to Cal Berkeley. He didn't want to go and play in the sunshine every single Saturday. So he went back to the snow in Michigan and played for the Wolverines, went to a Rose Bowl, and was drafted the 199th pick overall by the New England Patriots. He was actually the first soundbite on our sports show. You're listening to America's Sports Talk team, Sports Talk USA. This is Tom Brady, quarterback of the New England Patriots. But I'm saying the reason that Brady will come back, I think he's going to come back because you see a guy at Aaron Rodgers that has won Super Bowl. And Brady has 7 Super Bowl championships in 3 lost games. Been to 10 Super Bowls. And he's 7-3. And if he realizes that Aaron Rodgers gets this kind of money, what is Tom Brady going to say after the NFL draft is over and the 49ers are going to send out Jimmy Garoppolo and they're going to bring in Tom Brady? He's going to tell the 49er brass, pour some sugar, homie. Just like I did asking for cereal when I was a little boy. Pour some sugar, homie. And they're going to say, okay. It makes sense. Because if Tom Brady, his wife is going to say, boy, get out there and get that kind of money. You're gonna only sit around the house so long. She's not going to want him to tell her, hey, the GPS knows where we're going. He said, I know what I'm doing. I got 7 championships. Why I need GPS? It's International Women's Day. And when the 49ers signed Tom Brady, it's going to take away all the news of Aaron Rodgers, and it's going to take away all the news of Russell Wilson doing his thing also with the Denver Broncos. But whatever happens is going to happen. It just makes sense. But if you are Tom Brady and you see that, and nothing wrong with Aaron Rodgers getting this money, but if Aaron Rodgers just signed a $200 million contract and he has 1 Super Bowl and you were taking pay cuts and you have 7 Super Bowl championships and you get the chance to come back and play in your backyard, Sarah High School is not that far from Levi Stadium. I think they even named it Tom Brady Field, but I might be wrong about that, the Sarah Padres. I think I'm right, but I could be wrong. Why would you not, when the stars are aligned, and you see how guys who don't have nearly your pedigree, as far as rings on their finger, you need to put rings on both hands. Aaron Rodgers only needs 1 ring for his finger, and oftentimes he uses the middle finger to tell people, yeah, I'm COVID vaccinated, COVID, whatever he was saying. He lied. But he lied. You know, the NFL just talked about integrity. He lied and said, I'm immunized. He wasn't vaccinated from COVID. And what's the reward for him? $200 million for lying to the league and usurping the COVID protocol. Not knocking him. He realizes he can get away with it. So he did. But if he can get $200 million for 1 Super Bowl, what can Tom Brady get for having 7 Super Bowl championships? It's just a thought. Maybe he doesn't want to play anymore. Maybe he can't wait to go and drive his kids to school and they say, hey, Dad, would you mind stopping and dropping me off at the corner so my friends don't see you dropping me off at school? That's what's going to happen to him. And he may, at the dinner table, pour some sugar on me. He may say that too. But at the same time, if you can get that money, touchdown Aaron Rodgers, that's why we say touchdown Green Bay Packers. You think about it. Aaron Rodgers, what he just did. They just franchise tagged Devontae Adams. Rodgers up to the line of scrimmage. They have 4 wideouts, I-set formation, 5-man front by the Detroit Lions. The snap. Rodgers rolling to his right, rolling, looks downfield, throws, it is caught for the touchdown! Touchdown! Green Bay Packers! Devontae Adams, 50 yards! And so they just brought that back to Green Bay. He's an amazing quarterback. He's not the most athletic quarterback. People talk about the NFL Combine. Guys are running 4.2 and 4.3 and 4.4. Aaron Rodgers is not running 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, but he has muscle memory with the football. And that's why he got the $50 million a year, $153 million guaranteed. and he's going to make the most of it with the Green Bay Packers. But again, just calling it is. You can Google everything I say. The Green Bay Packers had the home field advantage the last 2 years. They were knocked out of the NFL playoffs by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year, and then this past season, the 49ers beat them in the divisional game. And that's a fact. Nothing can dispute that. But I'm happy for people who get their money. They deserve it. They've earned it. And now, say it ain't so, because it's almost like it's meant to be. Russell Houdini Wilson, touchdown Russell Houdini Wilson, he decided that he's going to take the trade, and they traded him to the Denver Broncos. That trade happened. And it's amazing for touchdown Russell Wilson, because here's a guy who also has one Super Bowl championship. Could have had two had he not thrown the ball over the slant and just given the ball to beast mode back in the day against Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. Everybody in Seattle remembers that. But now he's going up to Denver, where he's going to replace, Drew Lock is being shipped over to Seattle with a couple of other trades. And Teddy Bridgewater, that means it's done for him as well. But not since John Elway have the Denver Broncos, and then they brought in Peyton Manning. So you have Manning, and you have Elway, and now you have Russell Houdini Wilson. And each one of those guys have won Super Bowls. So Denver just become a playoff contender in the AFC. Of course, the AFC West is loaded. You have the Chargers out of Los Angeles, and they're a good team. Touchdown Justin Herbert's a great quarterback. You also have Derek Carr with the Las Vegas Raiders, and then touchdown Patrick Mahomes, former MVP and Super Bowl champion. So he stepped up in the competition. But the NFC West was loaded also with the 49ers and the LA Rams, the defending Super Bowl champions, and also the Arizona Cardinals. Seattle was going to come in last place anyway. The Legion of Boom defense is gone. Pete Carroll's 70 years old, so he's a little bit where they don't want to listen to him anymore. That's just the way some men are. International Women's Day. Women can tell you that men don't like to listen. Sometimes we have a right not to listen. That makes sense to you. But the fact of the matter is, touchdown Russell Houdini Wilson is making a lot of money too. He's moved up to the Mile High City, but will he be able to stay in the pocket long enough to let his lineman block for him, or will he still run around the pocket and make his lineman learn how to block differently? It's just a thought, but I think Denver just got better, and they got a better chance to make the playoffs this year and maybe even advance into the AFC championship game. I'm not saying they're going to get there because there's a lot of good teams. I still think the favorite to win the AFC next year is the Kansas City Chiefs. They've been to the AFC divisional and also championship game 4 years in a row. They've been to 2 Super Bowls in 4 years. They're going to be good again. They're not changing things. But Denver just got better with Russell Houdini Wilson. I'm looking forward to seeing what the NFL brings this year. It's an amazing sport when you have big-time players making big-time plays and they change zip codes and franchises get better. They're happier up in Denver. They have a great basketball team in the Denver Nuggets. They have a football team that just got better for the Denver Broncos. All's fair in love and war, and you can just say they scored a touchdown with bringing that touchdown, Russell Houdini Wilson. All's fair in love and war. I'm going to just say congratulations to the sports agents who get those contracts signed. Because they just got paid mega bucks too, buku bucks, if that makes sense to you. I love the sports business, and everybody should, because it's cathartic. It lets people live vicariously through athletes. Everybody needs someone to lean on, and leaning on sports has done a lot for a lot of people, creating jobs in industry and doing everything possible to make sure that they keep the games alive. That's why I'm a little bit disappointed with baseball right now, but a little bit happy that there are doing some things to help younger players and to help the concession workers and people that make the games go on so they don't have to starve, if that makes sense to you, because it is seasonal employment. I just love the sports business. There'll be more balls that will drop, no pun intended. They're going to have more players that are changing teams and changing uniforms and zip codes and coaches. It's all about progress. The NFL is not a perfect sport, but it is a great sport. And a lot of people love it, especially the guys that sign those big contracts. No matter what people think about the game, it is not a perfect game. They will always try to make the game better. It's just part of what it is in life. We all go through changes. And NFL is going to go through changes. Whether the Brian Flores deal with the Miami Dolphins, being able to hire NFL minority head coaches that run the game. Black men make up 75% of the NFL. Only got a couple of jobs. You can count them on the hands. Tom Brady has more rings on his finger than black men have head coaching jobs in the NFL, and black men dominate the game. They got to figure it out. They got to fix it. And you fix things by talking about it, even if not comfortable. Tonight's NBA schedule, we have the Brooklyn Nets at the Charlotte Hornets. Cleveland, this is for you, at the Indiana Pacers. The game that should be a pretty phenomenal game is when you think about basketball, NBA basketball. The Phoenix Suns are going to do their thing. I don't know if they'll get the win, but they're playing a game also down in the coast in Florida. And we'll let you figure out if they're going to come out alive. That means so much going on. New Orleans Pelicans playing the Memphis Grizzlies. Milwaukee Bucks, defending NBA champion. Milwaukee Bucks, they're taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder. And then the LA Clippers. They're in San Francisco tonight, here in beautiful Northern California. And they're going to take on the Golden State Warriors. And what the Warriors have to do is play that song that I used to hear back in the kid. Pour some sugar, homie. No, not that one. My producer played the wrong soundtrack. It's called Warriors, come out and play. And the crowd has to get nuts. And Steph Curry has to get his groove back. I don't even know if Steph Curry's playing. A lot of the Warriors have been banged up and dealing with injuries. So it may not be the same thing that people were expecting. But I look forward to seeing what happens. If you think about they have a chance to make up some room again to play as badly or as poorly as they've played, they're still number 3 right now in the Western Conference. They got to find a way to get the groove back. And maybe it happens tonight. All's fair in love and war. No matter who you are, celebrate International Women's Day. You all get the Big C Burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with, what's all this exotic meat? Don't worry about on the meat. Just eat it. Just eat it. Like Michael Jackson said, eat it. Because no one wants to eat it. Eat the Big C Burger on International Women's Day. Back in the day, there was a man by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly. You sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. With all you've got to use, how can you lose? Ali would say, I'm so pretty. I can't possibly be beat because all these Big C Burgers make me light on my feet, if that makes sense to you. My beautiful mother always says there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. If you know any man, woman, or child going through that garbage, pick up the phone and ask for help, because no man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. And as we always tell you on every Big C Sports show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day. Awesome sugar, homie, in the name of love.